Makers, doers, how tours, what is up? This is Pooch, and I'm here with
BigZ.
BigZ, that's right. And we are doing Rep Kids episode 2 today.
Yeah.
And today, we're going to show you how to do a little remix. Let me see your remix. Like that. Yeah, that's it. Little remix action. So, one of the best ways to learn something is to start with something that's already made and try to change it or improve on it or make it better or something like that, right? Yeah. So we went and saw, what movie did we go see today, BigZ?
We saw Despicable Me 3 today.
What did you think? Was it good?
Yeah.
It was a good movie. We thought it was pretty funny, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And in
the
honor...
Brat.
Yeah, the brat. He was the enemy, right? He was the bad guy. So in honor of Despicable Me 3... we got excited
goggles.
And we found some, what did we find online?
Some Minion Goggles.
Yeah, we got on Thingiverse and we found some really cool Minion Goggles that have been designed. So we thought it'd be really cool to take some print some Minion Goggles, but we have a problem. And what's that problem? We have three of you guys, so BigZ, and I've got Thing 1 and Thing 2, and they all want their Minion Goggles, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and so what's the problem? If we print 3, how are we going to know whose is whose when inevitably somebody loses one of them? Or finds theirs? Or how do we know which one's yours?
Well, we're going to put a little platform with our names on it and put it on the goggles.
That's a perfect remix. That's right. So we're going to take... we're going to do a little bit of modeling of our own. Right now we're inside of Tinkercad, and BigZ is learning Tinkercad. And so let's start, BigZ, by, you're going to drive. So take the mouse, and I want you to start by going to the button up there at the top that says Import. Okay? Okay, good. Now when we import, this is how we can take something in that's already been made, and we can add something to it. So we're going to start with our Minion Goggles. Now we're going to go over here off frame, and I want you to click on that one right there that says Google Minion Eyes, and click and hold so you can drag it. Right there, and then drag it over right there where it says, yeah. There we go. Okay, good. So now it says, okay, we're going to import Google Minions 2 eyes.stl. And those are the dimensions that it was designed at. It looks good. Let's click the import button. So sometimes more complicated STL files take a little bit of time to load. So we're going to wait for those to come in. What was the funniest part of the movie, you thought?
Let's see.
You were laughing pretty hard at some of the spots. Do you remember anything in particular that was really funny?
I liked when the minions were like in the stuff trying to hide.
In the which stuff?
The potties.
Oh, when they were in prison?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were hiding. That was pretty funny. Okay, cool. Well, here, look, we've got our Minion Goggles here, and these look pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, and what do you think? So where should we put our name on these, BigZ?
Like right there.
Right, like right here. He's pointing at this point. I think you're right. I think a little placard maybe right here would be nice. So why don't we start by making the little placard that's gonna go there. So we'll leave our goggles alone for now, and we're gonna make a little placard. And we had kind of tested ahead of time, so we know what size that we want this thing to be. But we're gonna start by taking a box, right? And making a little flat thing that we can put our name on, right? And what did we say? So we want that thing, maybe before we even do that, let's drag a ruler onto the workspace. That's always a good idea so that we have it. That's fine. And if you want, why don't you drag it over to the corner, because grab this part and drag her over there. There we go. All right, fine. All right, now let's bring a box on like you were doing before. Okay, now, once we have a ruler on there, once we bring a box on there, we can see our dimensions of our box. So by default, they're 20 millimeters by 20 millimeters by 20 millimeters. And we decided the placard that's going to best fit on our goggles here should be 3 millimeters high. So which one is our height dimension? You see which one's like up and down, BigZ? Yeah, that's right, that's up and down, but it's got it on the right side over here. So go ahead and click that 20 that's over there. Yep, that's the one. So let's make it 3 millimeters high. So type a 3. Good, and hit enter. Good, okay, so now it's flat. Okay, and then we're going to make it 30 millimeters wide, so from left to right there. So that bottom one, we're going to change to 30 from 20. So if you click on that, and type in a 30, Excellent. Okay, and then we're going to make it how many high? We're going to do 10 millimeters high.
I thought it was 8.
No, we're going to do the lettering in 8. Remember, we're going to make the placard 10. So go ahead and type a 10. Perfect. And let's wait. That's 10 millimeters. Excellent. All right, so we've got a little placard we can work with. Okay, so there's 2 different ways that we can do our name on something when we're modeling in 3D. We can do relief, which means what? The letters are
sticking up.
The letters are sticking up, right? That's relief. And what if we want to go down into the block? What do we call that?
That's recessed.
That's recessed. That's right. Now, which would you like to do for your placard?
We're gonna try recessed.
You want to do recessed, huh? I like recessed. That's cool. I think that'll work out well. So let's go ahead and go over to the letters there. Select your little text blocks. Good. And let's see, we want it to say big. So let's just put it next to our placard for now. Let's just grab the letters we need, bigs. So we need a B. Yeah, just put it right next to it. There you go. And scroll down a little bit, and we need an I. There it is. And we need a G.
Oh.
There's the G right above the I. And a Z. Because it's really big Z, huh? But we call you Bigs. Alright, cool. So we got them on there roughly. Alright, now what do we want to do so that we get them nice and neat in there?
We want them to be aligned.
Aligned, right. So you're going to select them all.
All of them? Even
let's just select the letters for right now. Oh, almost. Try to start. Let go of the mouse there. Okay, so we're going to select them all. Good. And go to the align tool. Excellent. Good. And we're going to align them to their middles. That's good. So they're lined up in the middle. That's good. And then if you look over on the right side there, it looks like they're all the same height and they're all lined up perfectly vertically, so we don't need to do anything there. So I would say the last thing we do is we should probably like manually kind of nudge the letters together so they're a little bit closer. So let's click anywhere off of, or you can hit the escape key, the top left there, that one that says ESC. Good. And then let's go down to where it says snap grid there, Biggs, and let's change that to 0.25 millimeters so that we can have a little finer control of our nudging. Yep, 0.25, good. And why don't you go ahead and select that I, and let's bring it a little bit closer to the B. Hold on, we selected there? Just one thing. Click off. We only want that I selected. Escape. There it is. Okay, good. Now there we're using the mouse arrows now, and we're just going to get it over until it's pretty close. Yeah, I'd say that's good. Now let's go ahead and move that G and the Z over. Good. And move that Z over tight. Maybe a little more. Get it in there close. They're friends, right? Perfect. Okay, now let's go ahead and group those. You remember how to group? Yeah. Oh, we're doing a little more adjusting. Okay, good. You happy?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's select all those letters now. Good. And we're going to go to the group tool. Very good.
Orange.
All right, now so now we got a block of letters here, but they're not quite the right height. Oh, you going to change your color? Just for visual, that's fine. They'll print in whatever color filament we use. All right, now let's get those dimensions so they fit on our placard. And let's start with that width there. So you see where it says 44.11? Click on that. And let's make that 28 millimeters so that we leave a millimeter on either side. Get a little bit of space. 2 and an 8. Good. And hit enter. Very good. And then for our height, let's make that 8. So the one that says 11.44 there is our height.
So
let's make that 8. Good. And then for the depth, the one that says 4 on the right-hand side there, let's make that just 1 millimeter. Okay. So we're going to recess into our placard 1 millimeter. Okay. So what do we need to do now, Biggs?
We need to put it on the placard.
We got to put it on the placard, right? Okay, so how are we going to do that? Let's go ahead and select both the placard and the text at the same time. So get us a big rectangle that can get both of those. Did you grab it? Yeah, that looks like you did it, right? And hey, maybe before we do that, since we're recessing, what do we need to turn the lettering into?
We need to turn the lettering into whole.
We're going to turn it into a hole so that it cuts out, right? When we put them together, when we group them together, we want it to cut out. Very good. Okay, now let's select both of them, and we're going to align them, right? So you can either do a box around both, or you can hold down the Shift key and click each object at the same time. BigZ has opted to do the latter. And now we are going to get our handy-dandy align tool again, so go up there. Now, do you remember, you see what it says right there next to the align tool, bud? L, right. And you know what that means? That means if you were to push the L, that's called the keyboard shortcut. And when we learn our keyboard shortcuts, that helps us work a little bit faster. When you push a keyboard shortcut, that's going to bring up that tool without you having to go up and click it every time. So right now you're not selected anything. That's great. So if you hit L right now, you'll see it'll toggle into align mode, and we get our little dots for our alignment. So what are we going to do here? Let's align it to all its centers to begin with, or at least the X and Y direction. Now hit that center on the bottom there, not that one. There you go. That's the one. Good. Get those lined up that way. Good. Now the last thing we need is we want to align it not to the center here, but we want to align it to what part of the placard?
The top.
The top, right. So we're going to select that very top dot there, and you can see it previews. That's good. Okay, now can you zoom in a little bit by rolling the mouse just a little bit? Roll that mouse wheel in. Excellent. Good. All right, that looks good. So let's go ahead and hit escape so we get out of our align mode. And let's select them both again. And what are we going to do to make it do the final carving out?
We have to group them.
We have to group them. That's right. So we're going to select both. And we got both now. And then you can do Control G. See how it says that? So let's, instead of clicking up there, let's hit Control G. Control and G, and boom. I'm gonna zoom us in a little bit here and maneuver around so we get a better look. And look at that. It cut out a nice little recess for us, right? All right, good. Whoa, let's not get too crazy here. All right. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put it up on our goggles, right? So go ahead and select our placard. Good. And let's rotate it. See the little arrows at the bottom there? We're going to rotate that one until it says 90. There it is. That's perfect.
And then we're going to do up and down till 45.
Okay, go for it. Zoom in a little bit so you can get a tighter what you're doing. Oh, let's go the other way, though. Other way, 45. Negative 45. And if you move the mouse out so you're on the outside of that wheel, that it'll snap. It'll snap to those things. So go ahead and get in close. There we go. All right, now let's move it over so where we want to put it. So move it over to the side of the goggles we're going to put it on. Okay. Good. Oh, now you're going to grab the arrow so that we can pull it up. Good. All right, that's not bad. We're getting a good spot. All right, BigZ is getting it fine-tuning. Make sure you get that. There it is. Oh, okay, now we're working. Oh, just so that Z isn't the different color, though. Can you bring it up? Or we can move it outward toward us too. Okay, so I'm going to move it just so that it's right off so that I can tell that the goggles aren't carving into our recess there. And that looks pretty good. Now let's kind of spin around. I'm going to use the right mouse button here. And I'm just going to maneuver around, and I can tell that our placard is attached and it is on there and not too deep into it, and it's not poking all the way through. I would say that's good positioning there, BigZ. Bump it. And what do we have now? We have
our Minion Goggles.
Our Minion Goggles with our custom. That's custom, right? We like custom around here. With our custom placards. So what are we going to do here?
We're going to group them.
We're going to group them. All right. You want to change the color of the whole thing? Make them gray?
White.
The way white goggles.
You can turn it whatever color, but you can print the filament color.
That's right. So let's go ahead and save it.
And save.
So go ahead and click on that word that it kind of Tinkercad kind of creates. Are you gonna? Oh, we're gonna make voxelize now. We love our Minecraft, so he's looking at the voxelizing. That's pretty cool, huh?
No BigZ. No.
No, yeah, we lost too much resolution with the voxelizer there. Let's go back. Tinkercad editor. Great. Okay, so up there on the top left, let's go ahead and change our name to something that we remember. So click on that. Yep, from Brilliant Jakub. what I was saying was Tinkercad likes to just pick a silly name to start, doesn't it?
Brilliant.
And let's go ahead and call them BigZ. So type in your name. BigZ Goggles.
BigZ Goggles, okay.
Goggles. Perfect. Hit enter. All right, so we got our goggles. So now we're ready. We're going to export it, and we're going to print them.
Yeah.
And we're going to take it into a slicer. We'll lay it down so it's ready to print. So we're going to export everything to a new STL. We got our remix. Remix. The remix. And we got BigZ Goggles. Saved. All right. Send it to the printer, and we'll see how they turned out.
Okay.
All right.